Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Jamin's Daily. Jamin here, your host. It's been a little while, and I'm coming back with another episode after, I don't know, maybe a week. Throwing in a couple of other episodes on YouTube, some reposts, but I'm back. But it's been a little bit of a struggle, guys. I have to let you know, folks at home. You know, I'm separated from my wife. For those of you who don't know, Jennifer, who's currently my wife, I still love you. I love you very much. But for those divorcees in my audience, you know how it goes. Sometimes things don't work out, right? Then at the same time, all kinds of stress at work. It's very stressful. Got all kinds of goals to meet. And so it's kind of like one of those, it's like good stress, or like good kind of, it's good to have these little bit of weight on your shoulders, but at times it can be kind of heavy, right? It's getting heavy. So we're working through these things at the same time, still trying to be entertaining and have a good time, folks, because I don't want to come. That's why, if you're wondering why, hey, Jamin, what happened to the more regular shows? It's because I'm very busy and I got all kinds of crap to deal with work, my kid, family, people throwing away their trash while I'm trying to do a podcast, all those kinds of things. But I'm managing. I try to take a deep breath and count my blessings, right? For which I have many. But it gets hard, folks. There was this period in my life when I could not relate to people being depressed. I was never depressed, all right? Things in my life were going well. I was pretty happy about things. And then, you start having kids and all these crazy responsibilities, and it starts to kind of add up. And many people have these same things, and they're doing very well. And I feel like I'm doing well, but it just seems as like lately it's just kind of piling up. And I think folks at home, many of you could probably relate. So I'm just putting it out there, being real, ain't trying to fake it like everything in my life is like hunky-dory, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? Life is pretty hard, but I'm trying to manage. And this podcast right here is like an outlet. My outlet used to be like working out. It's a good outlet to have. But I think, it's shit. Would I rather go? Right now I could be working out, which would probably be better for me. Instead, doing a podcast, because perhaps I can have an effect on the world. Right? I could be working out, helping myself, my health, or maybe I could do a podcast and reach somebody. Right? So I'm doing this. I'm sacrificing my own health for the better good. All right. But you're right. Working out could alleviate some of this stress that's going on. But you know what? I find the podcast is almost, perhaps, as much as a stress reliever. It's like my new outlet. So I don't need to work out, do things. I can sit here and just vent with you, folks at home. So when we get back, we're going to take a break. Realistically, when we first, for the fans who've been with me from the beginning, and if you're just tuning in for the first time, I beg you, go to YouTube or go to our Facebook page. You can find many, if not all. On YouTube, you can't find them all, but on Facebook, you can. And if you Google Jamin's Daily, there's other avenues on the web in which you can find all our content. But you'll see from the beginning talking about how, you know, we're trying, I'm trying, Jamin, your host, constantly trying to improve the show, but what I want is to have this really one-on-one, me and you, folks at home. This relationship that, I want you to tune in because you want to hear what Jamin has to say on relevant topics. So when we get back, because we're going to go to a break, and that's, I honestly forgot what the hell I was even talking about. But it was about the break. And previously, in earlier episodes, we used to do more of a segmented, go to the break, and I would be like, hey, folks, thanks for tuning in. We're going to a break. When we get back, yada, yada, yada. We kind of got away from that. But we're bringing it back, okay? So we're going to go to a break. When we get back, we're going to get into some headlines straight off the phone. Because I decided just to do this podcast right now. And if I really wanted to put it on the screen, the actual headlines we're going to talk about, this take too long. So I think I'm going to just put on, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll have we're going to do Yahoo headlines real quick. I think everybody has fun with that. I have fun with it. And if you don't, send me a nasty email. Very nasty. Call me all kinds of names at jaminsdaily@gmail.com. Or you could go to any one of our YouTube videos, Jamin's Daily, and you can put a comment. Perhaps you could even subscribe and let us know how you feel. Folks? So, when we get back, we're going to hit you with some Yahoo headlines. Until then, stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks, from the break. Jamin here, your host of Jamin's Daily. Got a little bit of a lag, but it'll work itself out, folks. We're going to get into some Yahoo headlines. But before we get into that, just wanted to kind of clean up the whole earlier segment, little personal information about my well-being, folks. I don't want y'all worrying about me. Everything's okay. Just going through a little rough patch. We all have that. Sometimes life throws you some lemonades. And I'm making some lemonade popsicles, folks. Lemonade popsicles. So let's get to our Yahoo. Let's see what Yahoo has to say. Yahoo headlines. Let's have a look. Oh, and what do we see right away? Mitt Romney. He's got a new proposal. He wants to give me $700 a month. I have 2 kids. Crap. I wish I had 10. This is ridiculous. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. You know what's going to really make people... the thing about this is that I probably don't even qualify. Because I have 2 kids. And I ain't going to get $700, okay? Because I'm not poor enough, okay? I'm not rich. But I'm not poor. So I'm not going to get anything. Which is kind of how it works for us, folks. Many folks. In the middle, we get the shaft. Not right. But let's see here. What else do we got? We got almost nobody inside a Florida grocery store is wearing masks. Listen, if the people who want to shop at this grocery store know that nobody wears masks, and then they keep going to this grocery store, it's because that's what they're down with. And if nobody's wearing masks at this store, one, I wouldn't go there because as much as I hate wearing my mask, as much as I think much of the pandemic and all this other stuff is kind of ridiculous in many ways. Although, heart goes out to everybody who's lost somebody. Yes, it's a terrible thing. But at the same time, we've talked about this on the show. People have been assaulted people have literally lost their lives for approaching, talking to somebody who's not wearing a mask. It is just not worth it. Okay, you have to just not go. It's like it's freedom of. I guess what you could say is like if you've never been to the store before and you just went into the store, you're wearing your mask and you look around and nobody's wearing a mask. I thought that as long as you're wearing your mask, you should still be kind of okay. And you can social distance from them too. But then after that, I would be like, crapola, I'm not going to that store ever again. And then that's how freedom works, folks. That's how freedom works. You go there, you see, oh, this is not what I like. And then you don't go back. You go somewhere else. That's how freedom works. Okay? The opposite of freedom is saying, listen, I don't like what y'all are doing, so I'm going to compel you to do something else. And forcing everybody in that grocery store to wear a mask. That's the opposite of freedom, folks. Do you see? It's very easy to point out. Making people do things is the opposite of having freedom, okay? You going somewhere and they're not doing what you want to do, what you think they should do, then you leaving and going somewhere else, that's your freedom. You have the freedom to do that as well, you know? But in this world that we're living in now, everybody is encroaching on everybody else's freedom and says, no, you know what? This is not socially acceptable. You have to do this or else. Or yada, yada, all these different things. We're all being compelled to do things, whether you like it or not. And that's the opposite of having a lot of freedom, folks. You don't have much freedom and when people are telling you to do things, okay? It's not how it works. So, everybody just remember, you heard it first here, Jamin's Daily. So you got to hold on to it, folks. You got to hold on to it dear because it's like, sand. It's like sand in the time, in the hourglass. The sand just drips. There's the freedom, folks. Goes away little by little if you're not careful. Tom Cruise's adopted son posts a rare photo. Nah. Can you imagine being so famous that if you adopt somebody, then their picture could perhaps be on an internet portal in which tens of millions, if not 100 million people look at every day? Crazy. Report high levels of toxic metals found in baby food. Sounds like a problem. Tom Brady's NFL draft class and what it's up to now. I actually read this article earlier, and they're all, the ones they highlighted are all like coaches or doing something else. There's a couple other ones who are highly successful in real estate or whatever. But point of the matter is Tom Brady is a unicorn. He's breaking records. If he wins on Sunday and gets 6 is already enough. Tom Brady's 6 Super Bowls is like Joe DiMaggio's hitting record. It's never going to be broken. Ever. Cal Ripken's consecutive games played. Never even going to be close. Most wins by a pitcher. Today's pitchers do not get a chance to pitch enough to even come close to the record. It's never happening. So you get what I'm talking about, folks. You get what I'm talking about. Tom Brady. A lot of us have a hit. A lot of us have hit a pandemic wall. Those are terrible. That link is terrible because I don't even know what they're talking about. Which is actually clickbait because then I'm going to click it. But I'm not. Former WWE superstar Gabby Tuff comes out as transgender. I love myself for who I am. I'm no longer afraid and I'm no longer fearful. Gabby Tuft wrote in a statement. So here, that is a hell of a transformation. I'll tell you what. That is. It just goes to show within the... and I gotta be real. Holy cow. Just forget it. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just saying, it's true for everything, folks. You never judge a book by its cover. It's such an amazing, saying that is so fitting for so many things. You just can never judge a book by its cover. The new Raptors tires are so big, Ford had to change the F-150 assembly line. You know, I like the Raptors. I personally drive an F-150. Raptors are cool. Tires are huge. The wheelbase on the F-150 is on the Raptor is bigger than the normal F-150, which would be a problem for me because sometimes I already have a hard time like going through the drive-through or through the bank, specifically the mobile bank. I go to the mobile bank a lot, and if I had a Raptor or a truck with even bigger tires, it would seem kind of hard. The hate. Okay, let's listen to this. Country singers react to Morgan Wallen's using racial slur. The hate runs deep. This one's also very controversial, and all I'm gonna say is that people say things. This guy's known drinker. People say things, and when they say hate, like people say bad things to people or use bad language, and it's not, in many cases it's like angry, like in the moment anger, or in the moment like bad judgment. But like hate, to say that Morgan, do you really think Morgan Wallen hates black people? I don't know, maybe he does, but it's just bridge too far. It just goes, it doesn't. I get that we're trying to make steps towards. So we were talking about this in another podcast. And try to surmise this in a better, more succinct way. Is that I was saying in another podcast about how, I'm against adding more words into this like completely censored list, right? So the N word, you can't even say it no matter what. And I was like, well, listen, let's not add more words to that list because it's a slippery slope and we shouldn't be going that way. Freedom, you can't have freedom of speech and yet have a list of words you can't say. That's not exactly how freedom works, right? I could not name a single song by this Morgan Wallen, folks, okay? Because I don't even listen to new music half the time, because most of it is trash. But I'm not even trying to make a point. The fact of the matter is, he's getting canceled, but because he's getting canceled, this dude has like the top 7 singles on iTunes now, So, I don't know what to make of it, folks. Because right now there's this weird situation in which, because of rap music and culture, is what makes this a very strange scenario. Like, I've really resented when, I think, who's this rapper? He's some Compton or something. I'm not a big fan, but he's won some awards and stuff. Oh man, what is his name? Anyways, so it's a rapper, right? He brings on a fan on stage who happens to be white, and they're singing the song, rapping the song together and he's encouraging her. Crap, it was in my mind and then I lost it again. But he's encouraging her to sing the rap song, and they're rapping it. And then, of course, in every rap song, they say the N-word 100 times. And so she's singing it also. So she's singing the words in the song, and the words in the song say the N-word. And so when she says the N-word as part of the song, he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, really? Are you seriously telling us that you were telling me that there are parts of this song that I can't sing? This is ridiculous. That's when you know it's ridiculous. You can't have words in a song that are acceptable for some to sing and others to not to sing. That is ridiculous, folks. I think everybody on the planet can agree to this. Okay? Can you really say, I mean, think about this. What other groups? I mean, we're really creating these fine lines and cutouts for individual groups. Boom, 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 boom. We're all supposed to be like one. We're trying to be a melting pot. Everybody talks about diversity, there's all this kumbaya crap. But then at the end of the day, no, 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 no. Everybody needs to be in these different groups. And only certain groups can do certain things. Right? And so and even worse, you can have songs and lyrics in songs and only some people can say them. Am I the only one who sees this as problematic? Am I? If I am, if I'm wrong, send me an email, jaminsdaily@gmail.com. Moving on. Let's see. This reality star confirms she's been talking to Jennifer Lopez's fiance, Alex Rodriguez, and he denies meeting Southern Charm star Madison LaCroix. Oh man, it's so terrible. It's so sick. Can you imagine? People for clout. Everybody's chasing clout, folks. Clout chasing, left and right. But I probably believe Madison LaCroix. Alex Rodriguez probably did try to hit on her. But at the same time, she could probably be lying. Just trying, chasing fame. Who knows? Miley Cyrus shows off abs and butt while giving BTS look at pre-Super Bowl. Folks, again, it's another example as to why the world is coming to an end and we're currently in the gutter. Miley Cyrus. This is a headline, folks. I mean, face palm, face. Are you kidding me? Look, this is women's health. And let me repeat this one more time because I can't say it enough. Women's health. This is the publisher. You know what the freaking headline is? Miley Cyrus shows off abs and butt while giving BTS look at Super Bowl. Pre-Super Bowl. Are you kidding? This is one of the more. We're gonna have a segment. We should add this. I'm gonna write it down to like the most ridiculous headlines of the day. Women's health should be embarrassed of themselves for that headline. So hilarious. McDonald's customers dumbfounded after discovering secret off-menu item. How do you discover a secret off-menu item? Like was it on the dark web or something? I've heard of these things, but if it's not on the menu and you try to order it, how does that even go down? Like it's on the register, but it's not on the menu. So you can order it, and whoever's there is like, oh yeah, boom, 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 and they order it. I don't know, man. I think this is just clickbait, folks. It's just clickbait. Kanye West seems to have cleared out his stuff in Kim Kardashian's new photos. Okay. Why? No. After two girls gossiped about a man in an elevator. Oh, you see, this is one of the new trends in links for Yahoo in recently, and kudos to them because they're constantly trying to find a way to get you addicted to clickbait. So here now, they're starting to put in links that are not even finished. After two girls gossiped about a man in an elevator, his unexpected response led to ... Led to what? Oh, let me click it. It's ridiculous. I'm not clicking it. Oh, Ford smashed earnings. I drive an F-150. The company reported an unexpected quarterly profit and pledged to invest more in electric and autonomous cars. Woman claims husband insisted she take vacation so mistress could sleep over and be mom to their kids. Wow. Well, I don't know. I mean, who am I to judge? You know, love is love. Maybe they can make it work. Wisconsin teacher suspended after asking students how they would punish slaves. Ooh, yeah. Maybe that's not a. He could have. I mean, some of these are just read. I mean, you're talking about judgment of people. Many people just don't have good judgment, folks. Okay, they're lacking judgment. Here's this another article. Ooh, I was gonna talk about Mitt Romney, but at the very bottom, I saw Salma Hayek, who is 10 times more important and influential than that bum. So I have no shame on it. Salma Hayek has no plans to stop posting bikini photos. I have no shame on it. Yeah, yeah, good for you, girl. I mean, we've kind of talked there. You know, there's a select few, and there's a select few ladies that Yahoo really loves to, um, shine the spotlight on. Elizabeth Hurley is one. Salma Hayek is the other. Because there's literally thousands, if not maybe even a million women posting their photos who look as, no, not as good. I mean, there's probably 1,000 other ladies posting their photos who look as good or better than Salma Hayek. And they're not making it on Yahoo. You know what I'm saying? But it's because she's already famous and also smoking hot in a bikini that she gets to be on Yahoo. It's the thirst. It's 100% thirst trap. Okay, the only reason, like Salma Hayek, it's no different. These what they should, and maybe I don't know. I never heard her really explain herself on it, but really, it's no different. Like I don't blame Kim Kardashian what they're doing. Like when they're constantly putting off, they're no different. They're like calendar models. They're lingerie models. That's what they are. But they put it on the internet, so that's how that works. So it's eye candy. You look at it. They're not advancing any kind of other cause or anything else other than the eye candy, that instant gratification of my eyes looking at your body. That's it. you know and so of course she shouldn't be have any kind of shame on it. Maybe I should be shameful because I'm constantly looking at your photos for one reason. Okay, so that's really where it's not a single shame. It's more of a like community shame when it comes to that. But no, there's no shame. Nobody has to be shamed. Listen, it's on Yahoo. I want to look at it. Fans, if we were doing a different episode and I had actually opened up into the article, we could see this right here. What we see her sunglasses. She's kind of like making a gesture to us. Can't get into it, folks, but we're not. And we're not. You know why? Because, in a world, in what's so intriguing and kind of like, I wish we some kind of academic study is that in a situation in which there's literally pornography at the touch at your fingertips, Yahoo is basically on their homepage scroll having soft, it's a soft kind of, the softest kind of pornography. But let's get real, folks, on this clickbait on the Instagram models. Okay, Instagram models. It's soft porn, folks. It's the softest of the soft. Okay? But it's like remember back Maxim magazine. It's basically the Maxim magazine online. Maxim magazine is basically the soft, the light, the Playboy light. It's basically women with the least amount of clothes they have to have on for it to not be pornography. Okay, folks? All right, and that's what Instagram has become. Instagram and much of the internet, clickbait is low category soft porn. You heard it from Jamin. When we talk about hot takes, I can't put on the description of my podcast. The description of my podcast says Jamin's hot takes of current events and pop culture. They got to be hot, okay? These aren't the lukewarm takes of Jamin. These are the hot takes, all right? So I'm not holding back anymore because, I feel like I'm trying to straddle the fence as much as I can. I don't want to make people mad. So I'm trying to give, a little more, be a little nuanced on what we're talking about, folks. All right? So let's moving on. Not finding anything interesting, folks. Maybe, you know what we're going to do? We're about 20 minutes in. Kaylee Coe always had a difficult time saying, is it Kuoku? Kuoku. Kyle, is it Callie Kuoku or Kaylee Kuoku? I never watched the whatever sitcom she was on to begin with. But she burst into tears when she learned she was nominated for her first Golden Globe. That's too bad. She's been on TV for a long time, and she's just now. It's pretty crappy, if you ask me. That's why she's crying. That's sad. Anyways, folks, when we get back from the break, because for whatever reason, Yahoo's not loading. So when we get back from the break, we're going to look into... Oh, this is what we're going to do, folks. We're going to have to end the episode. We're going to have a Huffington moment. Huffington woke moment. That's what it's called. I forgot the name of our own segment. It's a woke moment coming to you when we get back. So stick with us through the break. Don't forget, this podcast is brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance Agency. Phone number 361-400-2411. But, you can just go to quotefromjamin.com. It's going to take you to a next level 5G form you fill out. Sends us information, whether it's for home or auto. We can get you a quick quote, save you money, folks. Again, quotefromjamin.com. It's right there. Look, here's my finger, and it's going down, pointing right to it. We'll be back. Welcome back, folks, from the break. Jamin's Daily here, your host, Jamin. Brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance, greatest independent agency in Corpus Christi, Texas. We can help you with your insurance. Call us at 361-400-2411. Go to quotefromjamin.com. We'll take care of you, folks. But we're moving on to a woke moment, folks, because we always have to have some enlightenment here on this show. We're always skirting on the edge of controversy, folks, because I don't want to be controversial, but I want to touch on controversial topics, because almost everything is controversial nowadays. You can't talk about anything without there being some kind of controversy. So if you're gonna have a podcast, you're gonna be talking about some controversial thing. And so that's how it works. But I found something on HuffPost that really relates to me, yours truly. Jamin. Kamala Harris. I think I'm saying it right. I think it's Kamala Harris, not Kamala or Kamala or Kamala. It's Kamala. Maybe I'm wrong. But the thing about having a name like that, there are many ways in which. Is it a long A? Is it K Mala? Kamala? Is it Kamala? I mean, there's literally probably a dozen ways you can emphasize that name. So it's very difficult. But when somebody tells you what their name is, example, I had a business associate whose name was Fabian. Fabian. He's from Latin America. His name is Fabian. Fabian. Here in America, many people will maybe anglicize it, and there's many people who don't even anglicize it. I mean, their name at birth is Fabian. They wanted to be named Fabian. Their mother named them Fabian, and that's their name, Fabian. But that same name is pronounced differently in different places. And so Fabian is his name. But many people call him Fabian because that's the anglicized, or just another way of saying it. But when he came to work for me and I asked him, I said, because he kind of put it out there like, you can call me Fabian. So I guess I could have called him Fabian the whole time. But I was like, listen, dude, what does your mother call you? What's your name? I was like, it's Fabian. It's like, okay, well, then that's what I want to call you. It's Fabian. I can say it. It's not like it's that hard to say Fabian. I can say Fabian. And the reason why I've always been more concerned or interested in that is because of my own name, Jamin. Look at it. It's right there on the freaking screen. Jamin. It's not exactly common. And again, folks, I apologize. We have a little bit of a delay. But it's not exactly common either. Jamin. So, in our HuffPost, woke moment, it says here. And it's coming in crazy. It's coming in as like, I can't remember the name of the file, but it's not coming in right. It's like superimposing in, but you can see it on the screen here. It says, yes, pronouncing Kamala Harris's name correctly is a big deal. And here's why. I'll tell you here's why. It's pretty simple. People like it when their name is pronounced correctly. And when you mispronounce people's names, when it's unintentionally, it kind of sucks. But when you mention there and when you say it wrong on purpose, it sucks more. But ultimately, you know what sucks the most? And this is nobody's fault other than the parents. Is when you give your child a funky name. Funky. Okay? Funky name. Unique name. And then gripe over and over about people not saying it right, okay? Or having problems with it, okay? When you name your child Kamala, I guarantee you all her life, because I experienced this myself. Everywhere you go, my name is Jamin. But because of how it's spelled, it could be pronounced Jamin, 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 Jamin. There's so many different ways. So when people mispronounce it, I don't take offense because they don't know what the heck my name is. And so I say, oh, my name is Jamin. And half the time they're like, oh, okay. This happens all the time. Never been in a situation where somebody consistently mispronounces my name after I've told them number of times is what it is. But for Kamala, I guarantee you, or for Kamala, guarantee you all her life has nothing to do with racism or sexism. When you're the nurse at a doctor's office, and Kamala and her mom are sitting in the waiting room, and you walk out and you're just looking at a name on the list, and you say, again, that's what happens, because that's what used to happen to me in my name. The lady would be like, and then I would just be like, Jamin. I knew it was me by the way they were just struggling to say my name. Okay, because they didn't know. So the same thing with Kamala. They're like, me, I'm here. That's how it always worked. Okay, folks. Every time we had a substitute teacher at school, okay, the real teacher knew my name by then. Substitute comes in, they don't know what my name is. And I'm like always one of the first people to be called because my last name starts with an A. Okay, so I knew when my name was coming up in most cases too. So like, I already raised my hand. It's Jamin. Never once took offense. Okay, when you have a unique name, that's something you deal with. Okay, that's part of it. Okay, folks. So you gotta, that's just, you can't say that they're mispronouncing it on purpose because it's racist, because then I could cry racism left and right too, folks. Everybody who mispronounces my name is racist. Get it right. Amber Heard. Oh. We can just continue on a little bit, folks, on some of these headlines. Amber Heard on Marilyn Manson abuse allegations. Are you done ignoring it? I don't know. The thing about Marilyn Manson, too, because he came out and he said all this is fabrications. Everything we did was consensual. They're misremembering. Yada, yada, yada. And I don't know. Who are you going to believe? Do you believe 4 women who come and say he did this? You would think, 4 people all come together and say something? And, you tend to want to say, how many, can 4 people come together and all accuse the same guy of the same thing? They can't, I guess, and within him come back and say, oh no, they're lying. I don't know. It's not beyond the pale. Like, it's not like unbelievable, but it's also not also unbelievable that this guy is crazy. Marilyn Manson, he's crazy. He's already crazy. Look at what he's thinking. You're thinking you're gonna be in a relationship with Marilyn Manson and he's not into some kind of crazy crap, and you might be exposed to something like this. And then, this Evan Rachel Wood, it's one thing. And again, I'm not like some trauma. This is Jamin's Daily, folks. We're just talking about things. This is just my opinion, all right? And so this is freedom of speech. I'm just telling you what I think. So don't, hang your hat on it, folks. But the thing is, I can been there. So she was in this relationship with him when she was very young, okay? And when you're that young and in these relationships, and then years later you recall them, it is very difficult. And I swear to you, you misremember, or there's this heightened sense of what actually happened in some degree. And so I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not saying she's making it up or making it worse for anything. I'm not taking anybody's side. I care less. I'm not a Marilyn Manson fan. I don't even really know who this chick is because I don't even watch Westworld or whatever else she's been in. But what is always difficult, and most people say this as well, I think many people, this is a common opinion of sorts, is that, or a common held belief is that, it's always hard to come to grips when it's been that long. There's like this Evan Wood lady had mentioned it years ago but didn't mention Marilyn by name. She had mentioned being abused, but not by name. And then she comes, and then she finally names him, and it's like, and then these other people come out. They didn't come out back then, but now they all come out, and it's just, I get it. It's like Bill Cosby. I mean, I'm not saying that people like predators don't get away with it, and then finally they get busted. It's just in the minds, in the court of public opinion, it's always unsettling because everybody takes it like, dang, what if that girl, I dated a girl in high school when I was 18 and she was 17, and it was very tumultuous, and it was very, young love kind of thing. And you know what? 20 years later, she could come out. If I became famous 20 years later, that same girl could come out and say, you know what? Jamin was mean to me. He cheated on me and called me names. He was, they can't say I was physical because I've never been physical with any of them. But they can say whatever the heck they want to say. And what am I gonna do about it? You can't disprove. You can't. What is it? You can't disprove. You can't. What? Something about a negative. You can't disprove a negative. I don't know what it is. But the point of the matter is that everybody's uneasy about that kind of thing. Okay. So I guess the lesson is, folks, men and women out there, if you're in this kind of relationship, you have to come out right away. Have to. We got to overcome. We're talking about all these changes in society right now, right? These changes that we all are supposed to be making in terms of being open and accepting and this and that. Well, you know what? One of the changes in society is you need to out your abusers. You can't be just like letting it go, because you know what? That first girl who was abused by Marilyn Manson, if this is true, allegedly, and she didn't come forward, you know what? All she did was let the next girl get abused. And when that girl didn't come forward, then she only had a hand in letting the third person be abused. And when that third person didn't come forward, you know what? She has a hand in the fourth person, Ultimately, the only person who is really responsible is the abuser. But you know what? If we really want to get into weeds, in which a lot of the Monday quarterbacks like to do, and all the finger pointers like to do, is that, okay, there's plenty to blame to go around, right? So all those other women, the fifth woman who was abused could very easily flip the tables and start blaming number 4, 3, 2, and 1 for not coming forward sooner so that she wasn't abused. But I guess that's not a fair way to look at it. Nobody ever poses it like that. At least not on national TV. Maybe on random podcasts like Jamin's Daily. But that's what needs to happen, folks. You need to tell men at home, women at home, parents of daughters, you need to tell them. That needs to be something that is really driven home, is that, look, these abuses are no longer accepted. Everybody knows when somebody's treating this way, you gotta come out, because you know they're gonna do it to somebody else. So you gotta come forward. Okay? Because when you come forward 10 years later, it's always difficult. It's in a difficult situation. It's already difficult, and then it makes it more difficult, and it's just like, everybody throws their hands up, and it's like, okay, let's figure this out. Nobody wins. Terrible situation. So, folks at home, I want to thank you for. This has been very cathartic for me, I guess is the way. Cathartic? It's kind of a fancy word. It's almost therapy. I do this podcast as therapy in many ways. I'd rather talk to myself and to my perceived fan base, you guys, folks at home. I'd rather talk to y'all than I've talked to counselors, folks. I've talked to them. And in addition to taking my money, they kind of help at times, but I find this helps even more. Because a lot of that kind of therapy is just telling somebody something. And because from experience, what they tell you just goes zoop, zoop. Really, most of the therapy is just getting it off your chest. Because many people just don't have somebody to talk to. But I'll tell you what, folks. I feel like I do. I feel like every one of you folks at home, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to spill the beans, folks. All right? I want to thank you for joining me. Your host, Jamin. And this is your podcast, folks, Jamin's Daily. We're coming up on a year. We started this maybe in May, maybe June. So we're coming up here soon, before you know it. This is going to be episode 58 or 59, so we're almost up on 60. Hopefully, I'm going to try to, we got March and April. We got all of March, all of April, and May. Well, maybe we'll say like June 1st is the anniversary. So we got 3 months. That's 90 days. Oh, yeah. The goal is to be at maybe 100 episodes by June. I'll feel real accomplished by then. And the more episodes we get out there, the more opportunities we have to, draw a crowd, folks, and really make it fun. So, folks, I really want this to be at some point where we can be very interactive and we can have maybe some Twitter post while we're live and we can respond, all those kinds of things. So that's what we're trying to grow to. Takes time. So it's going to come, folks. Until then, I just want to thank you for sticking with me, staying with Jamin's Daily. Don't forget that this podcast is brought to you by Jamin's Daily. You just can... This podcast is called Jamin's Daily, but the podcast is brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance Agency. All right? And you can call them at 361-400-2411. But the most easiest thing, the simplest thing you can do is go to quotefromjamin.com, fill out the form, and we'll get to you with the quote. Until then, until our next episode, folks, I just want to thank you for joining us. Your host, Jamin, on Jamin's Daily. Stick with us because the best is yet to come.